Good morning, students. So this is our second week, lecture number 3, and in this one we will be dive deeper inside the HTML tag. So what is the HTML? So HTML is a standard hypertext markup language, and it will help us to create the web pages, describe the structure of the page, and it is actually a series of the tags or the elements. You know, in we have the HTML tag or the element, then we have the header section inside the HTML, then we also have a body section inside the HTML, and then inside the header we also have some other elements. So every element is exists. So it is a series of elements that will help us to structure our web page, that help the browser tell the browser that how it can display the contents of each tag. Okay, and we talk about the hypertext. So we say hypertext markup language. So hypertext mean that we are creating the links from one page to the other. And if we look at this, the starting page or the main page or the index page or the first page of your website, from this page we can move from different pages which exist inside our website, and then we can always come back to the main page and so on. So the links that we create, we call them, they are the hypertext. But nowadays we also use the images to connect to create those hyperlinks. So we can also say it is a hypermedia. So it is a hypertext over hypermedia. The media mean that we are talking about we can see the videos, we can have the music, we can have the images and so on. So we have the hypertext, and now we also have the hypermedia with the HTML5, because in the HTML5 they also have the media, uh, what you can say, that the media tags. So we can easily just like we show an image and specify the source, we can, that we will be discussing in this lecture. uh, then we can also play the music, we can also play the video on our web pages, so that will become the hypermedia. So what do you mean by the markup? Markup mean that we are marking our contents with different types of tags. If you look at this one, so here, if I just try to, here, if we look at that, this is a heading. This one is a heading. This one is also a heading. And if you look at the simple inside our code, it is a simple text. Okay. And this is also a text, and then we also have this text. But when they appear on the website, they appear differently, like this. So this is actually the heading number 1, this is the heading number 2, and this is the what you can say, that the text here, this one. And then after that we are putting that br, so it will tell that I don't want to display anything after it, just go to the new line and then show this contents. Okay, so we just mark these simple text with different tags, and in the page they are appearing differently, and that is mean the markup. We are marking the contents of the tags with differently, with different tags, and based on those tags they appear differently. Because if we look at the contents of these tags, what do you mean by content? We have the opening tag, and then we have the closing tag, and inside this, that is called the content of the tag. So these contents appear differently on the page based on the tag that we are using it. Okay, so this is the meaning of the markup. The next thing is the language. Of course, HTML is also a language. It also has a specific syntax that we need to follow. It follows certain rules and principles, but it is not a very strict language. Not a strict language mean that inside the Java that you have already studied in the previous some courses, if you don't put a semicolon at the end of the line, it will give you a syntax error. It will not allow you to compile the program, and it will not allow you to run that program. But in our case, in the HTML, the problem, it's not a problem, but it say that I will not, HTML does not impose the syntax of the code on the user. Okay, if you have make some mistake, then the browser, doesn't matter which is, it is a Chrome or Safari or the Edge or any other. Okay, So what it will do, it will try to understand that code as much according to his best understanding, as much as possible it can understand, and it will try to display based on the understanding of the code. And it will not say that you have this problem, you have this problem, you have this problem in your code, and then you missing some tags, you are not writing them correctly, and so on. So it is not a very strict language. It does not apply those syntax very strictly like the other languages apply, like C++ or the Java or the C sharp. Okay. So language of, again, this is a language of visual formatting. So visually we are actually structuring the contents of our page inside the tags and the series of the elements. And this is our basic structure. Everything that is present inside our HTML document, it is always is inside the starting tag of the HTML and the closing tag of the HTML. And then we also have two sections here. Number one is the head, and the number two is the body. Inside the head, this is the only visible item that is available or that is visible on the in the browser. But these body will contain all the elements that we want to show on the page. So if I look at that, the title is somewhere here. You can see that about me. So title is appear on the status bar of the application, okay, or the browser. And then these are the contents of that page, okay, which are visible. Like this is our heading one, this is our heading again one, I think this is heading two, heading two, heading two, and then we have this simple paragraph here, okay. So these are uh, the structure of your structure of your HTML page. And then here is a small video in which I just try to delete or make some intentional errors inside the code. And then you will see that it will still show me the same page, or maybe a little bit different, but it still show me that page. Okay. So if I just run that video, you can see that I am just trying to make some random errors inside the code, and yet still it give me something. Again, look at that. I just remove the header, starting tag, and all the meta tags and everything. Okay, the tag deleted, inside I'm changing the title, and if I save it, then you can see that it is appearing the title on it here. And then I'm also deleting the head altogether. So we can make all those kind of a mistakes, but yet still it is trying to show me that specific. Again, look at that. I remove the closing tags of the HTML and the body, and still it show me that if I remove this tag, H1 tag, then maybe it will consider everything after it is as an H1, and it will show me like heading one style, bigger and bold. Okay, so this is show this video, or the errors that I made in the code. It show that this is not a very strict language. So this is, and then in this course, we will be studying these three technologies: HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript. The first one that we will be studying, or we are studying right now, actually, HTML, it is a structure of the page. And then we have the CSS, which is giving the styles, how it will look like. We want to make it bold, we want to make it italic, we want to change the colors of the background, we want to change the color of that the text. So we can apply different type of styles over there, how it look like visually aesthetic, visually good. And then the last part is a behavior that we need to implement inside the JavaScript. Is, again, we need to write the code in the JavaScript language, and then we can connect with our HTML, and then it is actually implement the interaction between the user and our website. So here is the simple example of our HTML structure only, and then we have some H1 tags. We have the title of the page, we also have the H1, we have paragraph, then we have a footer, and then we have again a horizontal line. This is represent that horizontal line that will be appear in the page. And then this is, so if I look at that, so this is actually the horizontal line, that is the HR. Okay, HR tag. If you want to display a horizontal line, then you need to use the HR. And then we also have a BER. If you want that contents go to the new line, we have a BR tag. So this is a simple, what you can say, that simple HTML. I didn't use any kind of a styling or the behavior here. If I just change my add some styling. So if you look at these blue, so here I am saying that on this h1 tag, actually on the contents of this tag, okay, which are here, this is a simple text. Make the color mean that we want to this text convert it into a green color. Font size, okay, we are specifying the font size, the second property for this style. And then we say text align center, so this text will become in a green color. Of course, the font size will be equal to 60 pixels, and it will be aligned in the center of the page. And then the on the second one we are putting some margins, and then here it is a top, I mean we need to give four numbers here. Here top, then we have a right, then we have a bottom, down, and then we have a left part. So first number represents the top margin. Because we are giving 0, it means that we don't want to leave any margin from the top. On the right side, we want to leave 100 pixels as a margin. Again, for the bottom, we are saying that don't leave any margin. And then on the left side, again leave. And then we also say that the font size should be. Again, look at that. Here we are specifying the font size in a different unit, but here we are specifying the unit in a different unit. By default, the font size is 1 EM. Okay. And then now we are saying that make it a little bit bigger, 50% bigger than the normal size. Okay. And then we also have the another paragraph here. Here we are saying that inside the footer, make that text alignment as a center. So it will this text will appear in the center of the page. So let me show you the output. Okay. So this is okay, not the output yet. So this is our Java code or the JavaScript code, where we are saying that whenever we click on this specific text, when we click on it, it show me an alert message. Okay. So here is the output of this code. So look at that. The heading one is the green and it is the central line. If you look at the last paragraph or the footer, again, the text is central line. And when we click on this part of the text, it will show me this specific, what you can say that an alert on the top of that screen, on top of that page. And then we click on OK, it will disappear. Okay. So we have implemented. So we have the HTML for the structure, CSS for the styling, and we have the JavaScript to implement some behaviors inside our pages, so that when the user interact with it, the our page can respond to that actions which the user is taking, or which is the user is interacting with our page. Okay. So definitely first thing is the HTML. We need to understand how we can structure our page properly, and then we will come to the CSS, and then we will talk about the JavaScript, how we can implement more behavior. So first thing, HTML. So HTML elements and tags. So we have, that from our previous two lectures, that we have the starting tag and the ending tag. So we have some elements or the some tags which also have a starting as well as the ending. But there are some which are self-closing elements. Okay. So we have, if I only talk about P or paragraph, then it is an element. But when I make it like this, putting the into the angle brackets, then it becomes a tag. And then if we want to have the closing tag, it will be like this. Again, I just put a slash before the element. This is our element, and I put a slash before that one. And then we also have these angle brackets. So this is the opening tag, and this one is the closing tag. So block level elements, again, block level elements mean that these require, for example, if I say that this whole screen that you see, in which you are seeing the seeing your slides. So if this is our page, for example, and this is our heading, this is our heading, this one, this is our heading. So then what it will do, it will reserve that whole width of the screen for itself, and it will not allow any other element to share or to come into that place. Again, if we look at that right now, this element is coming, but consider that it is not there. So it is a heading one, for example, H1, and then it will reserve that whole width of the screen for itself, and it will not allow any other element to come into that space. even it is a big note. Again, if you look at that, we have an empty space here, we also have the empty space after that one, but it will not allow any other element to come in that space. So that is the block level element. Our paragraph is also a block level element, h1 is also a block level element. Div is more like a division. We are dividing the page into a different section, so that is or different part, you can say. It is also a block level element. So render on its own line, so it will reserve the complete width of the width of that specific page for itself, and it will not share with other tags or the elements. Then we also have the inline elements, and inline elements are rendered on the same page. For example, I think that I will show you the example when it comes. So, it means that it does not reserve. For example, if I just try to put something here, for example, I have a bold. B is a tag which say that make that text bold. For example, if I say B, A and S, and then close that tag. Again, it is opening and closing tag. So if I do that, for example, this one is right after this h1 tag, and it will appear on the page like this. It is also reserve a space for itself inside the page, but it will not cover the full screen. So for this one, the size of this tag is only this. And if I put another, another inline element, not the paragraph tag or the block level element, if I put another, for example, I have the italic, so I say some text here and slash I, so it will come right after. Let me change the color of the pencil. So this is our italic. So right after this one, it will show me that text, which is the italic. So it means that is this one. So here, inline element does not reserve the whole width. Based on the contents that they have, they will specify their size. And after that, if you add other inline elements, they can also come in the same space or the same line or same window. Or you can see, yeah, if I say this is our line, then they come on the same line. So that is the inline element. So we have the block level elements which reserve the full width of the page for themselves and does not allow any other element to come in that space. And then we have inline element which has smaller in size, and they allow the other inline elements to come in the same line. Okay. So block level elements should not be nested in other. So we don't nest the block level elements inside. We can nest the inline elements inside the other block level elements, but we don't nest the block level elements inside the other. And as you know that the HTML is not a strictly strict language, so it will allow you to do that, but definitely this is not right thing to do. Okay, because then there's a conflict between two block level elements, or two elements, so who is going to have which specific space. Okay, and then the browser is tried its best to understand and then maybe resolve that conflict and show you something on the screen, but this is not recommended that you nest the block level elements inside any other element. Okay, it doesn't matter it is a block level or the inline. So here's an example where I have also put some background colors. If we look at the first heading, I have put a background color, and if you look, this is reserving the complete line, complete width of the page, and then it only show this element here. And then inside the paragraph, if I look at that, and then I also have this bold, this bold text, this one. So it only reserve this specific part in the line, and then okay, my size is this. But the paragraph is, again, it's a block level element, so it is covering the whole width of the screen. And this inline element can come inside the paragraph element, and it will say only this. So again, we also have the block. B is the, or the bold text is the inline element. Image is also an inline element, and then we have applied different styles so that we can see the sizes of them. So is it, I hope it is clear. All good. Anyone who
Yes,
can? Yeah. Okay.
yes, doctor.
Do you have any questions so far? Don't think so. Yep.
I have a question.
Yes, Zama.
Can you go back to the previous? Can you go back to the previous slide?
Okay. Here.
So basically, I can put an element inside the block level element, right?
Yes.
And for the inline element, I can put the same, right?
Look, look, now understand the block level element is covering the full width of the screen. I can
Yes,
put
yes, I know.
inside that block level element, inside the content of that block level element actually. Okay. I can
Mhm,
put another inline element. For example, we want to make this elements as a italic. This is an H1 tag.
mhm,
Here H1, and then here I have another H1 where it is closing. Okay. So I want this elements text or the word to be italic. So what I will do, I will put as I here, and then I put space slash I here. So now this
mhm,
is an inline element which is coming inside the block level element. You understand?
mhm.
So
Yes, I understand.
uh, inline elements can come inside the other block level elements, but it is
Mhm.
not recommended that you nest a block level element inside another one. Clear?
All right. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other question? No. So let's continue. So we understand now what is the block level and the inline elements, and then how we can nest them together. So we still have time. Okay, so I'm just highlighting those elements inside the code and on the page as well. So we also have the semantic elements or the semantic tags. Okay, so we are making the headings, h1, h2, h3. So they, of course, we said h1 is the biggest heading. So maybe this is a heading for the chapter, and in the chapter we have different sections. So for each section I say use the h2. Maybe in this section we also have a subheading. For that one I use the h3. So that will tell us the hierarchy of the important elements inside our tag, inside our page. Similarly, we also have the navigation bar. Navigation bar means it will say that this is a navigation on the page where I can use different links. I put different links and I can navigate between different sections or the parts of our website. Main mean that it is the main contents of the page or the main elements that we want to display, or the main emphasis, the content, main contents of that page where we have more emphasis. Okay, or which is the main theme of that page. We and all these semantic elements are used by the search engine optimization. So they, because these are not only these tags, the semantic tags not only give the specify the structure of the page, but they also give some meanings to the contents. And those meanings can be used by the search engine optimizations to rank your page so that your page can appear up above in the search results for the people who are searching for that specific topic on which you have made the page. Okay. So here is an example of the semantic elements. So first of all, I am saying that this is our header. So it again, this is the header of your page where you are putting some h1 element, and inside the head, after that header we have a section, and inside the section we have an article. Inside the article we may have the paragraph where we are writing some text about it and so on, and then we have a figure. Inside the figure we have an image, and we also have a figure caption, the small description of the image. So these tags make the structure of the page, but as well as they give the contents of that contents a specific meaning, and those meanings are used by the search engine optimizers or SEOs to rank your page. And similarly, we also have footer here as well. So these are the some examples of the semantic tag. So definitely, when we will start working, then you will see that how we can use those semantic tags to make it use them properly. Again, the HTML document, write the first line. This is our first line that specify that this document is of type HTML. And then everything that you write in this document after this line, we must have the HTML starting tag, and then everything is inside this HTML closing tag between these two tags. And then inside these two HTML tag, we have two sections. One is the header section, where the header section is always contained between the opening and the closing tag of the head. And then we also have the body section, which actually show the contents that you want to display on the page. So we have 6 levels of heading. Okay, H1 up to H6. They are block level elements. All the headings, H tags, doesn't matter, it is H1, H2, H3, H4, or H5, H6. They are all block level elements. So here's the example. Uh, you know, you can see that this is my, where's my cursor? Where's my, okay, coming here? No? Yeah, here. So if I, this is my heading one, this is my heading two, this is my heading three, and right now, these, what will be the font, what will be the size, and then of course all the headings are bold. This is decided by the Chrome in the browser that we are using it. So this is a default settings for the browser. Browser know how to display the H1 and H2 and H3. And if we want to override, if we want to change that behavior, default behavior of that browser, then we need to give some styling informations about this, and then definitely we can. And if you remember in the previous example where we make the heading green, center align, okay, so that is actually we can override these default behavior. By default, this is the font size of the font, and then it should be bold and it should be left aligned. Okay, that is a default behavior which is implemented inside the browser. Then we also have the paragraph tag. I think we already talked about that. And then this is the thing. If I look at here, this is here when, because I put here the, where is my cursor? Okay, here, this one. Okay, and this BR actually tell that after this heading, it will go to the new line. The contents will go to the new line. The same thing is applicable on this space. So it should be something like this, you know. I think change of the uh, I need to fix that thing. But anyway, so you understand that. So BR is the contents after it will go to the new line. Then we have a link. We talk about the hyperlink or hypertext. So we need to create the link between this page and the other contents that we want to see. So A is the tag to create such kind of a link. A is used to create a link between different pages or the contents. We can link it to a image so that it will show that image on the screen. We can link it to another HTML page, then it will show that HTML page inside the browser. We can also link it to the other like PDF. So when I say PDF, it will show that PDF in the browser. If I connect with another document like is a Word document, then what will happen? Because the browser does not have the capability to display that Word document, it will start downloading that thing, and then you can see that page on your computer. Okay, so we can connect with any type of the page, any type of the contents. The only thing is we need to give the exact path location where that document exists. And right now we are saying that the in the same folder, in the same place where this current HTML file exists, look for the headings.html file. If it can find that file, it will display it on the page, and if it cannot find that file, then it will display a, a error page. Okay, an error page. And I think that in the practical part I can show you that, so this will be much more clear. So here we are giving the location or the address of that file, which is relative to the current position of the current file inside the folder. So hyper reference href property must be set for the a tag. If we don't do that, then this text will just appear a normal text on the page and is actually not clickable. Okay, and again here we have two different. Here we say it is a relative address, and this one is the absolute address. So we need to specify the https colon slash slash www.google.com, and then it will open the google.com for us. If we want to specify anything which is external, which is not inside your website project, it is an external thing that you want to display, or external page or resource that you want to display, then we always use our absolute address where that resource available on the internet, so that our page can display it or our page can access it. But if you are showing something inside your own website, then normally we use the relative addresses. Okay. So where we need to use these kind of addresses, relative addresses, where we are talking about or we are trying to access the internal resources of the website. And if we are trying to access the external resources or the pages or the things, then we need to give the absolute address of the resource which exists on the internet. So here's an example. So here I have put these, uh, where is my cursor? So here, so you can see that I have put an A and we are say href, and then I say heading element, heading tag page. So when I click on that, it will should open that page if it exists over there. And then we also have about me page. And then we also have the href where I am trying to open the google.com. And why they are going to the new line? If you ask me, A is an inline element. Okay. And the size of this inline element is this. Okay. Then if I don't have this br, go to the new line. Okay. Then this link will appear right next to each other, and this will also appear right next to each other if I don't have this br tags there. But because I put a br, so that's why they are appearing in the new lines. Okay. So when I click on this, it will try to open these headings.html or about me.html and https.com, I mean google.com for us. And then similarly, any questions so far about that element tag, the relative addresses and the absolute addresses? If you have, then please let me know so that I can answer it. Then we will jump to the yes, Abdullah.
Doctor, can I make the image clickable and the alt not clickable, or do I have to make them both clickable? If
No, I mean, if you, the first question is that can I make the image clickable? Yes, we can make it. The only thing is what you need to do. If I just bring my where my here here uh, here at this place, if I put an image, because this is the content that is going to appear inside that hyperlink. If you put an image here, img, and then you give the src, whatever that source is, then that image will become clickable. The what is the second question? If I didn't get it properly.
I want to make the image clickable and the alt if the image is not found not clickable. Is
Alt,
it?
alt.
Yes.
You, I mean, do we specify the alt? What if the exist image does not exist? Show me that text, and you don't say that. You don't make that alt clickable. That is what you want?
Yes.
Unfortunately, I don't think so. The reason is that alt is attribute inside the image. We need to specify this alt is equal to some text. Okay, so this is the part of this image element. Okay, so if this image element is inside the contents of this a tag, then definitely this will be clickable. It is not possible. I mean, according to my understanding, but maybe we can check. Okay,
Thank you, Doctor.
welcome. So the next tag that we want to study is the image img, and we want to show some image on the page. So then, just like for the h a tag, we must have to specify the href. And if we don't specify the href, then the contents of the a element will appear just a normal text on the page, and they are not clickable. Okay, but on similarly, if I want to show an image, then we must specify the source. And here what I'm saying in that source, that inside the current folder, look for a folder called images, and inside that folder find the image name Prince Sultan University.png. And so this is the source. That's the only thing that you need to specify to show an image, because we want to show an image, and now we are specifying which image. As a source property, we are specifying which image we want to display on the page. Okay, so this is an optional thing. If you want to specify the size, like height and width of the page, then you can specify that thing. Otherwise it is not necessary, but source is something which is necessary so that we can show an image on the page. And then I think here is the example of the answer of the Abdullah. uh, where is here. So if you look at that, we have, this is our a tag, you know, and then this is the closing a tag, and inside I have this image. So now this image is actually clickable, and when we click on this image, it will open up the home page for the Prince Sultan University. Is it clear? All good?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. So, and then of course, in any other language, in the HTML, we also have the comments, and then anything which appear in your code between these two patrons, everything here is considered as a comment. Okay, so here are more details. If you click on that link, then you can go to the tag underscore comment, and then it will give you more informations about that. So of course, in any language, we also have the comments in the HTML as well, and then you know that we can use the comments to explain our code, to give more informations which are not the code, but it will explain that code for anyone else who's trying to read that code or understand that code. So here are some examples of the comments. Here you can see that they are highlighted in the green color, and of course these colors can be different based on the which specific the style that you are using, or which IDE you are using. Okay, so here are some references. All these, the standard, the HTML5 reference. So these are, this link will contain all the tags which exist in the HTML5. And then if you want to study their details, what are the different property that we can specify for that element, then you can go there and study that thing. So that is the end of our, and here are some references for this lecture. And now let me quickly jump into that practical part. We don't left much time, but let's see. Okay, so we uh, discard all these changes, and now let me bring the VS Code here, and let me quickly open. Okay, before we can open, let me do one thing. Remember, we have installed the Prettier in your in the lab PCs. We also have the live server. I also have some other, but you don't need to worry about, because I am also teaching that Flutter programming course. So that's why I also have some other uh, extensions. But for you, what I want the, for example, HTML hint. Okay, so HTML hint. Okay, so this one, it is a 1.2 million, but I think that this one has been discarded, because if you look at that, they are putting this one, space. So I mean, this is not recommended, or this has been discarded, or maybe a new version of that one has comes in. So that's why we will go to that one, and then we will install it. And what is the purpose of the HTML hint? As I told you, that I mean, if you look at that here, if underline, it will tell me there is something wrong with your code. So normally we don't get those kind of a things. Okay, for example, if I just look at that, we have a list, and then we have, so it will give me some error messages, and if I bring my cursor on it, then it will tell me there is something wrong inside your HTML code, and then it will, I mean, we can identify those things and we can correct it. So HTML hint is something which help me to correct my HTML code inside the VS, inside what you can say that inside the when we are working on it. The second extension that I would like to add is the we have auto rename tag. So this is again, look at that. It has been installed 23.9, almost 24 million of time. Okay. And what this extension do, I think that I should, okay, let me disable right now. Okay, disabled, and then open up what you can say, open a folder. So again, we are on the desktop. I try to make a new folder, IES311, and inside I make the folder name 11 AM, and inside I make a folder name week 02. So this is the code that I want to select, and right now it is an empty. I just quickly create a page here. I say index.html, and then press enter. Then I press uh, shift 1, and then press enter. When I do that, so now you can see that it is giving me, and then I can click on the go live server. So I can see that right now there is nothing inside it. Okay. So I just bring it here. I just try to organize these things. I want to see that. And then I try to make that one here and close that part. So let me make one more thing. Uh, control control plus, I want to make this bigger. Yeah, so you can see that. Let me do this thing. So now we have this code, and if I just put an h1 here, okay, and then I say it is a heading 1 for demo of html. Okay, html, and then save it, and you can see that it is showing me on the refresh automatically due to that live server. Okay. And now if I just said, oh, let me copy that, I can shift alt and press down arrow. I can make multiple copies, and okay, I want to make this one as an h2. Okay, and I say h2, and look at that. This one, now it is also because of that HTML hint extension, it is telling me that you has started the HTML2, but you are closing the HTML1. Okay, so it is giving me an error message to show me, and then this one, that inline, it is showing me the error. Actually, it is coming from this extension. Where is that error lens? Okay, if I also have the error lens, it show me that error inside my line, so I can just read it and then try to solve the problem. So we have error lens extension, which show me that error in the line, and then the error is actually being highlighted due to that. Where is the HTML one? The HTML hint. So HTML hint. And now, if you look at that, when I change the code here, when I change this thing, it does not automatically rename the closing tag. Okay, so if I just come back to my extension, what was that? Auto. Okay, where is that? I say auto and auto rename tag. So again, look at that. I have enabled. Yes, I want to enable it. So as long as I enabled it, and now if I come back here, let me Control Z and change it here. So now this extension has been enabled, the auto rename. So what I will do, if I just say H2, now look at that, automatically it changed the closing tag for me as well. So that is the purpose. So that makes our life easier when we are working with the or developing the HTML pages. So the first extension that I would like to show you is the let me close it down. So it auto rename tag. So whenever we are renaming one text in the starting tag, it automatically rename the closing tag for us. Okay, the second one is the error lens, because you can see that the error is coming right in front of your face, and then you can read that description and then you can correct the problem. And the next one is the auto HTML hint, that will tell you that there is some problem and error inside your HTML code, you need to fix. It will highlight with the yellow underlining. Okay, so you know that there is some problem, and I need to identify that what is the problem, and you will need to correct it. So these are some. The next, or the last element or last extension is the ES lint. Okay, ES lint is also, look at that, it has been installed 47.2 million of time. So ES lint is more like right now we are not working with the JavaScript, but if we have some problem or the issues or the errors inside the JavaScript code, then ESLint will highlight those errors and then tell us that how we can fix it, okay, or give us some hints. So we install that thing. So because the time is almost finished, so I we will inside your browser, inside your VS Code in your home or your lab pieces, when we come tomorrow inside the lab, please install these extensions. Number one, ESLint. Number two, HTML hint. Number three, auto rename tag. And then we also have the error lens. I will send that names inside the WhatsApp group so you can see that. So that's all for today for this lecture. So if you have any question, then please let me know. Any questions so far? I think no. So thank you very much for this.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, Doctor. It was
No,
Welcome.
pleasure.
I have a
Welcome. So
question regarding the major.
let me stop that video, okay, and then we can answer your questions. So thank you very much for this video. This is the lecture for today, and how I hope that you have enjoyed it.